Hello, Senior Stoner fan. Just a real Senior Stoner back at you for your OG Puffco dab of the day, an old faithful with diamonds. Hello, everybody. Today is Saturday. Thanks for joining me. As always, if you enjoy today's topic, don't forget to subscribe and join the Senior Stoner family. Send a like my way, and I reply to all comments. Boredom. Boredom. It's got to be eliminated. We got to find ways to eliminate boredom. I'm experiencing a great deal of it lately. But you know what? You've got to find the root cause of boredom before you can fix it. You got to understand why you feel bored. So there are root causes that can bring people closer to a cure for their boredom. Procrastination means you're not bored, you're procrastinating. So if you're procrastinating instead of bored, you're just putting off things. Nuke the procrastination and you'll nuke your boredom. Well, lack of useful energy is a root cause. Boredom isn't the same as exhaustion. When you have an abundance of one form of energy but have no energy of what you would find useful, people find that happen. They don't feel physically tired, maybe. So you got to find an activity that you have an energy for, an abundance of. It can mean doing something physical after spending an all day writing, or doing something creative instead of boring things. Well, you want to schedule gaps. Well, your schedule suddenly changed and you got a flurry of busyness to protect you. But sometimes that doesn't work, and we need to settle into the quiet and take time for reflection. You have environmental obstacles that make you bored. Waiting in line, taking a long plane flight. Boredom requires you to be creative until the situation changes. And boredom is caused by a lack of motivation, let's face it. You just don't have the motivation to do what will eliminate the boredom. In short periods, you can overcome it with simple things, but in longer periods, it's got to be addressed with serious reflection, goal setting, and maybe even resetting your priorities. What has to happen in order to get your boredom under control is you've got to figure out what you really want to do. Boredom masks where you want particular activity. It could happen to you when you're watching your favorite television show. When this happens, the first thing you need to do is recognize that the activity is something you truly want to continue doing. You got to nuke that procrastination. You got to get your compass straight in your head. Boredom can be caused by just being out of direction. Spend a few minutes maybe identifying your goals, desires. Spend a few minutes, sometimes bringing up those things can get you motivated again. If you socialize or like to socialize, get out and meet some friends or make some new friends. Boredom can also disguise itself as a lack of social energy. So even if you go meet people in your area and maybe your friends you're used to are busy, you can go on internet. You can find another way to communicate. You got to find a way to put off the boredom. You got to take a look at your to-do list. You got to commit to one little piece of it, even though you don't want to do anything. And guess what? It'll be like the snowball rolling down the hill. It'll get bigger and bigger and bigger. Well, we talk about learning things all the time. One great solution for boredom is to learn something new. The challenge with what's new is it's got to be something that's enough. A book, writing a short story for yourself, working on the computer on photos. It's something, but it may not be enough. Boredom happens often when you're doing a task, a random internet surf, or watching TV. It's a distraction. Well, guess what? That black hole that you got yourself sucked into for distraction can really turn your brain off. So maybe the things we've been doing to occupy our time are making us more bored. So we've got to find ways to fill the schedule holes instead of filling it with TV. See, too much time is often worse than no time. So I personally find myself on weekends getting more irritated than during weekdays. When Mrs. Stoner's home, all she wants to do is be home. She's worked all week long, 8 to 5, 8 to 6. Can you guess what Senior Stoner wants to do? Let's go out. Where are we going? Doesn't work that way. So I become increasingly more bored. So maybe you have to become your own cheerleader. Well, think about that. You got to think about a way to restore your motivation and keep moving. Whether it's meditation, journaling, whatever it would be to get you to that next place. Maybe adding a new challenge. You see, if you find yourself completely and consistently bored all the time, what you're doing is you're bringing up the same solutions all the time. Television, read a magazine, go up to your studio. In my case, it's not enough. So what you have to do is you have to look for things outside of your circle of comfort. It's difficult for most people because we live in our own circle of comfort. But you have to penetrate that circle of comfort to get an external influence to help you. Could be another person, could just be another thought pattern, another way of thinking. In which case, you know what, honey, I know you don't want to go anywhere. I'm going myself. Nothing bad there, okay? But you've just done something different. You rethought it. It's a different pattern. If everything you do is together, when you're together, maybe it's time you do some things individually to scratch your own itches. Not a bad thing, it's a good thing. Because if you reduce the boredom, you'll be a better person to deal with. So all these things are meant to help us get to the next level in life, where we can enjoy life instead of constantly trying constantly. You know, a lot of times people used to say, I remember when I was a kid, oh, I'm not trying anymore. I'm not going to try anymore. It's too difficult. I'm done trying. Well, you know what? You get older. Get old like me. I'm going to be 64 on the 24th of September. You get old like me. Yes, you're tired of trying. But you know what? I think sometimes you have to. Sometimes you have to try the hardest you can to do the littlest thing. And when you move it, when you move this little thing, you got a big body here. You can't move that thing with your mind. You got to move it with your finger. You got to move it with your finger. You know what? If you can do that, you can make change. So this is the real Senior Stoner. Hoping we can all move things in a direction that'll give us some change and improve life and less boredom. This is the one that started it all. My original Puffco peak. Here it is. I put a brand new atomizer on it today. Look how squeaky clean it is. You know what you can do for boredom? Tune into Senior Stoner or somebody like me, because I'm relatively interactive, which means when you comment, you'll get a response. So whether or not you have a best friend out there or don't have any best friends out there, you can get somebody to respond to you. Limit your boredom. Try new things. Move it just a little bit and see what happens. This is the real Senior Stoner. Thanks again for joining me and my Puffco Peak OG. Have a great Saturday. Cheers.